Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. I want to welcome you to our very first 25 Tuesdays with Way introduction. So I'm going to be joined by Ed this evening, and we're going to be telling you a bit about what's coming up over the next few weeks. And 25 Tuesdays with Way series is all about celebrating the charity's 25th anniversary. So hopefully you've had your pancakes and you've settled in, or your Welsh cakes if you're celebrating St David's Day. I'm going to tell you a bit about what's going to be coming up over the next few weeks. So a bit about the charity first. So if you don't know, Way, Widowed and Young is a UK charity that offers a peer-to-peer support network for anyone whose partner died before their 51st birthday. And really we are inclusive of everyone. So people worry about whether they're married or if they've got children, but it doesn't matter if you were married or not, if you had children or not. And we're inclusive of all sexual, race and religion. So I'm Kate and I'm one of Way's volunteers. And I'm one of your 5 hosts for this 25 Tuesdays with Way series. So you may recognise me from the talk series that I ran during lockdown, which was Talk Away with Kate, where I interviewed around 50 of our members, talking to them about their stories and understanding a bit about their experiences that had helped them. I'm sorry, it looks like my connection's a bit dodgy, so hopefully you can hear me okay. So you can find all of the talk series on our Way IGTV channel. So if you have a look onto the Instagram channel, you should be able to see all the videos that we have uploaded from the last couple of years. So if you missed out and you want to listen to them, feel free to have a look after this. So a little bit about me. So I joined Way as a member in 2017 after my husband died 5 years ago, almost to the day. And I know firsthand how difficult it can be navigating through life after the death of your special person. And Way has been a real lifeline to me. It's helped connect me with many other people in the same situation. And it's allowed me to feel that I'm not the only people who can answer questions and share the highs and lows of the journey that I've been on over the last few years. So I mentioned that Way's had its 25th birthday at the weekend. So many of us went over to Cardiff, which is where it first started back in 1997. And on the 26th of February, the first ever event was attended by a handful of young widows. So this series will kick off on the 15th of March. We're going to have 2 introduction sessions, one this evening, one next week. And I'm going to be talking to Caroline Saal on the 15th of March, and I can't wait to share her inspirational story with all of you. And over my series of interviews, I'll be talking to some of the many faces of Ways. And that's from the current members that we've got now, to volunteers, to people who work for the charity. So I'm going to be talking to our current chair of Way, that's Sedley Burke. She actually joined the charity's similar timeline to me in 2017 after the death of her wife. And she passionately is using her experience to ensure that Way are able to reach all eligible members from all communities and walks of life. I'm also going to be talking to one of our wonderful ambassadors, Emma, who I was actually fortunate enough to meet at the weekend in real life, which was lovely. It was the first time that we'd been able to meet in person for a long time, because obviously many of us have been in lockdown and been isolating away from everybody. And Emma's going to be talking to me on this series, and she's going to be sharing her reflections of 2 years after being widowed by COVID back in 2020. I'll also be joined by one of our volunteers who supports Way's members in their local community. So one of the people who works closely within their area to make sure that all of our new members that join are supported, that they get opportunities to meet people, hear about events that are going on, etc. It's telling me it's paused again, so I'm going to keep pausing. Some of the staff of Way who are part of the operations team I'm going to be talking to as well. And those are the people, the really special people that make sure the charity runs on a day-to-day basis. And with all the new members who are joining us, which is now almost every day, we're getting new members join us, sadly. But I'm really glad that they're finding Way and they get an opportunity to join this great support network. I'm also going to be talking to a couple of people who are hugely part of the campaigning part of the charity, and they ensure that widows who end up in a really difficult situation when they're widowed, but also because sadly, especially if those people weren't married or if they have children, they can end up in financial poverty due to the way that our benefit system works in the UK. It's really, really difficult for them. So I'm going to be talking to them about the work that we're doing to support those widows. So I mentioned that I'm one of the 5 hosts. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the others. We've got blogger Sam and also another of our ambassadors, also called Emma. And they're both members and widows. And we're going to be chatting to some of the other people who've written about widowhood and grief. So you may have heard of some of these. They've got some famous faces that are going to be appearing in this series, which includes Lucy Brownlee, who wrote Life After You. So I don't know if you've read her book. It is fantastic. But you're going to they're going to be talking to Rick Hart, who's done a lot of blogging and writing. And then into the summer, in June and July, we're going to be hearing from Shalini, who's another of our ambassadors, and she's going to be chatting to guests, including writer Kat Lister, about some of the taboos around widowhood. So I can't wait to listen to some of those, because it's a really interesting topic. You know, people have a lot of connotations or, preconceptions about widows, and they're really going to be kind of breaking down some of the barriers and talking about some of the taboos that exist. And last but not least, we have another of our hosts, Ed. You may recognise him too, because he stood in for me on talk a few times last year. And I'm going to add Ed in now so he can introduce himself. So you have to bear with me, because Instagram have updated their app about 5 times since I was last online. So it's a bit precarious, but I'm going to do it now. There he is. So otherwise this would have been a disaster. Hello, how are you doing? Can you hear me okay? Oh, I can't hear you, Ed. Can't hear you at all. Hello.
Oh, that's working now.
Hooray! Now, we've both done this so many times. We didn't have a technical rehearsal, which is which is a schoolboy error, really, isn't it?
We thought we'd be fine, didn't we? We thought we were old hands at this.
We did. We were like, we'll be absolutely fine. We've done it before. We know what we're doing. Yeah. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. So I'm going to hand over to you to tell us a bit about your mini-series and your part of this exciting series that we've got coming up.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Kate. So, yeah. So, as you've already said, my name's Ed. I have been a member of WAY for over 4 years now. So my partner Jamie died about coming up to 5 years ago, actually, and I've found it hugely beneficial to be a member of WAY, and hugely beneficial to hear some of the kind of stories and conversations that we've had in things like this. So really looking forward to being involved. So I'm going to be one of the presenters. My conversations are going to be coming up in the summer, sort of across July and August, and I'm going to be supported by Emma, who's going to kind of help out with some of those as well. And in that part of the series, we're going to be looking at specific challenges related to widowhood. So, for example, being widowed and in the public eye, widowed and LGBT, other sort of perspectives as well. So I think we're still finalising some of those as well. So if people have any kind of suggestions or kind of particular angles that they'd like to hear, put something in the comments below. But the point of that is really to kind of help us just hear different perspectives, I think, about what it means to be a widow from slightly different background or slightly different sort of circumstances. But I also expect that probably we'll find a lot of just commonality. I think the experience of being widowed and the experience of being bereaved and going through grief, there's so much in common for everybody, regardless of who you are or what stage of the journey you're on and so on. So should be some really interesting conversations, basically. And I think for me, the best thing about it is a chance for people to kind of tell their stories. I think that's one of the most important things for people who are on this journey, is the opportunity to tell their story, like keep their loved one alive, and have people who are interested in listening to that and sort of sharing that. And also an opportunity for people who tune in to hear from people who are at different stages of that grief journey. You can hear from people who are kind of maybe further along and know that actually it does get a bit better, really, and people can get to sort of different places and different points in their lives. And also I think it's just a little bit of validation, isn't it, that you're not the only one in this situation, that other people are going through that. So,
100%.
yeah. So that's basically it. That's a kind of summary of what I'm going to be talking about. Looking forward to it. And yeah, back to you.
Well, thank you, Ed. It's really exciting. And I know, we're so pleased that we've got so many people that are able to join us to host, and obviously we've got lots of interviewees lined up as well. But as Ed kind of mentioned, we have got a couple of exclusive slots still available later in the schedule. So if you've got any ideas about you know, topics you want us to cover, or people that you think we should speak to, or actually if you're interested yourself in being interviewed and sharing your story, then please get in contact with Vicky, or you know, send us a DM on here. We'd love to hear from you. As I mentioned before, so next week we're going to have another intro session. We've got Sam, Emma and Shalini are going to be talking to you. You can get to know them, hear a bit about their story and how they became members of Way. And obviously they'll probably tell you about what they're looking forward to most during their interviews. I know for me, I do genuinely look forward to every interview that I do. I absolutely love doing the Talk Over Kate series that I did. I know Ed, you joined me on that series as well. It was really, really good to hear from so many of our members, and I felt so privileged that so many people were able to share their story and, as you said, give them opportunity to talk about their loved one and keep their memory alive as well, because it's so important. And I know that as members, it's something that we do when we meet up. We talk about, you know, life, how we're getting on, and we talk about our special person that isn't here anymore as well. And it gives us chance and opportunity to do that with, you know, some trusted friends. So I always say to other members and other people that I know, you know, when I meet up with a group of Wayers, really it's like I know twice as many of them, because you do get to know their partners as well. So it is really special. So as I mentioned, we've got all of our video content that we've recorded previously. It's all uploaded to Instagram. It's on our IGTV channel. We're going to be recording all of these as well, so don't worry if you can't tune in live every week. They're also going to be uploaded. And we're really excited to kick it off in a couple of weeks' time with our founder, Caroline. And I'm super, super excited about talking to her. She spoke to us all at Cardiff. She's so inspirational. You know, she set up the charity 25 years ago after her sister's husband died. So her brother-in-law died suddenly. She was only 35, her sister, and she was 12 weeks pregnant. So really, really difficult situation. And, you know, Caroline was beside herself really, because their mum had also lost their dad really young. So they knew how difficult it can be, you know, navigating life after loss. And they, you know, they decided that things were going to be different this time. And, you know, look what they created. So the charity has changed quite a lot in the last 25 years. So I'm sure we're going to be talking about that in a couple of weeks' time, and all of the new things that have been happening. You know, talking on Instagram, for starters, didn't exist back then. And all of the ways that we've been keeping in touch over you know, the last couple of years, because it's been difficult as well. We've been meeting on Zoom and having lots of virtual catch-ups, but I'm so thrilled that we're able to meet in person again. And as I mentioned, seeing some of the members in Cardiff was just so inspirational. It was fantastic. So Ed, it's lovely to talk to you. I hope to see you in real life very soon.
Oh, hasn't it?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've seen you know, Ed and I have met quite a few times as part of the London group. So yeah, we're used to catching up in one of the pubs and having a chat, but you know, we haven't had that opportunity in such a long time. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. And Sam, Emma and Shalene will be here again next week at 8 p.m. Take care. Bye.
Bye.